up, slingers out there? New favorite uncles from Queens, New York back here tonight. I am Uncle Logan Myers. That's my good mate over there.
And I'm Henry Osborne, and we're back with an all-new review for you. This time we're going a little different avenue than we're used to, although we've done a couple video game reviews before, but we're super excited to finally be reviewing this game. Both of us have played through the game. I know you went 100% on your end. I played the main missions, but we are going to review Marvel's Spider-Man 2 exclusively for the PlayStation 5.
That's right. Our good friends over in Insomniac Games put out this game last October, and I was super excited to dive into this. I got this for my son for Christmas, so I wasn't able to play it till December after Christmas. So we played it the past few months 100% through, as Uncle Henry was saying here. Got the Platinum Trophy on PlayStation, had a great time with this, put about 45 hours into this game. But, you know, it's the next chapter in the Spider-Man series. Of course, they did Spider-Man Remastered, Miles Morales, which is a short but excellent game that we reviewed. And of course, they're back with the sequel, Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker and Miles Morales, flying around New York City.
Yeah, and they're working as a team in this one, very much so. And that's one thing that I noticed right away. You're working together, whereas, Miles Morales game was focused on him. And the first Spider-Man game was a Peter Parker exclusively. Well, now it's taken the best of both worlds, putting them together, and it lets you as the player switch in between the characters. And right away, you come in contact with a major villain in the Spider-Man universe. It's the first mission, and you come across that old wild Sandman.
That's right. Sandman ran the intro of the game, just taking over New York City and just breaking through buildings. Of course, all his little cronies, Sandman, popping out of the sand there. And, it really starts the journey and the chapter of this game. Really excellent. Both, Miles Morales and Peter trying to take him out. Really some hard combat and fight scenes early on in the game, but it's really setting you up for what you're going to be playing throughout the rest of the game with all the other villains showing up along the way. And, the other games, I loved how they introduced Sinister Six and all those characters in this game, starting with Sandman, Marco, and you have to go throughout New York City and find Marco's crystals having to do with Sandman, but also introduces a lot of other bad guys showing up along the way.
This game is thrilling from the get-go. It puts you in control of Spider-Man, just like you could imagine being Spider-Man. This game puts you right in the middle of it. It's like being Spider-Man, and you're getting the best of both worlds here with Miles Morales and Peter Parker both having their specific powers that they have and coming across these legendary villains. It's a fun game, and I like how Insomniac doesn't make it too hard. It's very easy to jump right in and play and figure it out. It doesn't have too complicated of controls. It's very easy to get into, and you can figure things out as you go. It's not a game where you're going to be stuck for a long time, which is nice, and especially this. You might have to play through the missions a few times, but usually by the second or third try, you'll probably figure it out, which is nice because it keeps the gameplay nice and fresh and keeps the story moving. And that's what you want to do through this game. You want to keep on moving because every villain that's introduced in this game just keeps getting better. Next villain that I can think of that you come across in the game is obviously Kraven, the hunter. And it shows him in the jungle, and it gives us a glimpse into his whole backstory, something that I wasn't too familiar with. But seeing Kraven in this game, that's who I want to see on screen, like a big hulking hunter Kraven. And we won't be getting that exactly. We'll be getting Aaron Taylor Johnson in the movie, who isn't exactly like a huge behemoth guy, but the character on this game is would be amazing to see on the big screen. But it's amazing here in the game. I love the backstory. I love his whole lust to get the biggest, the next biggest kill. He wants to go on the biggest hunt of his life. And, he learns of Spider-Man and he wants to go out there Spider-Man.
Yeah, the introduction of Kraven the Hunter, the way he shows up essentially in the helicopter is really badass. And like you said, he's a massive dude. I'd love to see like a big UFC fighter play this guy. Aaron Taylor Johnson's not that big. I think he's my height. That's how Kraven the Hunter is in the comics, just a massive dude. And the way they portrayed that character in the video game, very menacing, very scary. And when you actually go to fight Kraven the Hunter, he's a badass. He's hard to take down and kill. And the way he kind of goes out is really amazing at the same time. But yeah, I loved his introduction. He has a tiger, you know, all his army of people are really hard to beat in the game. All their weapons that they introduce in this game is really fun. Like, you know, it takes you a few times to get through these different missions and stuff, going against Craven the Hunter and his people. Introduces Dr. Connors in the game, as well as Lizard, and then of course Quentin Beck as Mysterio, if you guys remember from Jake Gyllenhaal playing that character in the Spider-Man movie. But his character is really cool, and there's a lot of really interesting and trippy Mysterio little side quests you have to do, and yeah, it's out there. It's really awesome. The graphics are really well done, and it's a mind trip playing this game, jumping off skyscrapers and flying around New York City, taking all these bad guys. It's like overload, you know. It's like you feel like your mind's gonna get blown at times because there's so much you're trying to take in at once.
Oh yeah, the visuals, the gameplay, everything's fantastic. The storyline too, with Peter and Miles and Kurt Connors being in it. We also have, you know, Harry Osborn, much in the story here, and you know, seemingly being in that tank, and where you found out at the end of the last game there, what you kind of, it continues the story of that, and you're finding out what that was all over his body as he was in the tank and what that's all about. And of course, you know, we kind of figured it out early on, you know, having to do with the symbiote. His father trying to, you know, cure him at all costs, and in the process, basically infecting him with this alien symbiote. And the symbiote goes out of control during this game and wreaks havoc. And that's really the main storyline in this. But there's so many different villains too, so it's not just that. But I really enjoyed the story between Peter, Miles, and then Harry, and then of course MJ comes back too. So there's a really nice storyline that goes out throughout this whole game. It's not just like, okay, here's the next villain, let's punch him and beat him up. It really, you know, there's several big missions, and it continues throughout until the end of the game. And I really loved what they did with the symbiote and it infecting Peter and him starting to go crazy, and then Miles having to, you know, fight Peter. It puts them at odds, and then eventually, you know, you get the big full-fledged reveal of Venom, and it's just as incredible as we had hoped it was. And Venom's voiced by Tony Todd, Candyman.
And of course, we're never going to get that version in a movie. Like, it's just so much
No.
better in the video game, much
Yeah.
like the comics. Venom is huge, you know, like his teeth, his tongue. Like, they're never going to be able to do that. I don't know why,
Right.
but, you know, with visual effects. But yeah, just the game. It's just what I imagined from reading the comics, how menacing he is, you know, the symbiote taking over Harry's body, of course, and then Peter can't control it. He can't get it off. Of course, Miles comes in to help him, and some other people, and MJ and all that. You know, taking on the final battle with Venom was super hard. Like, it took me a while to get through that. And who Venom kills throughout the game too, which was really incredible. And all the Venoms throughout New York City, those symbiotes and everything.
Yeah.
They just kept popping up out of everywhere. Like, they wouldn't stop. And it was a hard game to play, you know, certain parts of it. Like, it was just nonstop, and you couldn't stop to think or strategize what you're going to do next. It just, you know, nonstop, and really incredible aspect of the game. It's keep going and try not to give up, you know?
Yeah, the alien symbiote suit, when you're Peter, it gives you even more powers as Spider-Man too. So he can, you know, he can go farther. All his skills are increased. His fighting skills are increased. And then when, you know, it's finally a full-fledged Venom, you get to play as Venom for a part. And that's when it's really incredible, because you can see just how incredibly powerful, menacing Venom is when you're playing with them. You know, during the fight scenes, his arms can stretch out really long. He basically is killing everybody in his path, especially that one mission that takes place. It's in like the big high-rise building, the science building, and he's just like running through the glass, breaking through doors, and then beating all the soldiers up, you know, basically killing them, breaking their back. You know, it's brutal, and it's awesome. You really feel just how powerful Venom is. And yeah, like you mentioned, they just can't replicate that in the movies. There's no way, you know. We love Tom Hardy, but they can't capture Venom right in the movies. They haven't been able to, but this game is pretty much a perfect representation of that character. And, you know, with Miles and Peter working together, eventually, you know, they're going to have to team up and use all the skills that they've learned, and also team up with MJ and have her help them out too, to outsmart Venom and to eventually try to capture the symbiote suit and get it out of the wild, basically, because it's destroying New York City.
Just like all the Venom nests throughout New York City, it looked like The Last
Mhm.
of Us, like a
Mhm.
apocalyptic New York City, just infested with these nests and black things all over the skyscrapers, and you're trying to fly through it, and you're getting stuck on them, and it's just like it
Yeah.
really takes over New York City, and they have to put their minds together with Miles and Peter, MJ, and they bring in Lee from the last game, which was a bad guy, but they kind of
Yep.
brought in his powers to help them take down Venom, symbiotes, and everything, which is really cool. Thinking about it, the map is super massive in this. Obviously, New York City, Queens, and you're going to the Bronx. You're going to New York City, Times Square. It's just a lot of stuff on the map. It took me and my son a while to get through everything because there's like EMF plant stations, and then you have the Venom nest. I mean, the Mysterio side missions, the trippy side
Mhm.
missions. There's a bunch of stuff you have to do throughout the game on top of the main mission, which is more or less Venom's character.
Yeah, you completed it 100%. So you did all the side missions, and that didn't that allow you to do fast travel too?
Fast travel, yeah. Once you
Yeah.
get to
See,
so
I never
many,
got to experience that.
yeah, and you also have to get all the different suits too. 100% suits for
Right.
Miles, Peter, and both of them. There's some really cool suits. My favorite being Wolverine. There's like the Wolverine Spider-Man
Oh,
suit.
damn.
Yeah, we grabbed that and got a trophy, and like that was my favorite. There's a few others. I don't want to spoil too much if people haven't
Mhm.
played this yet, but there's a lot of cool ones that show up along the way. You have to get
That's awesome.
throughout the city, and you have to complete all the side missions and different tasks you have to do to unlock those suits, and also powers and your weapons and everything. So there's a lot to do, and it's not a boring game. It keeps you busy all the
Wow.
time trying to find something, and it's just a really satisfying, fulfilling game.
Yeah, you talking about that, there's a ton of replay value in it. Like I want to go back and get 100% now just hearing about the suits and fast travel too. In addition to what we already talked about, the traveling in this game, in addition to, going around and swinging from your web like you can in every other Spider-Man game. This time it introduced like the wingsuits, and then you can kind of glide through the air. I like that addition too, because that's another mode of transportation that's even faster than shooting your webs and swinging all across the city. You can catch those streams that were in the air too, like the jet streams, and that could make
Yeah.
you go really fast too. And there were some challenges up in the air, flying through like a course too, which was really cool. So I like that. Even the Spidey going around town was different in this. So they did do a lot of new gameplay features for this, which I appreciated. It wasn't just copy and paste from what we've seen from the first couple games. They really, upped their game and went all out for this game, and it shows. It's a beautiful game. I can't tell you just how much you need to play this game if you haven't yet. It's phenomenal. It's one of the best games I've ever played.
It's so realistic too. I was talking to a few guys at the barber shop about this. They're like, "Oh yeah, Spider-Man 2. I thought that was a movie." It really looks like a movie. The graphics
Yeah.
are incredible. From
Mhm.
a person that doesn't watch movies or video games, like guys like that, they're like they
Mhm.
thought it was a movie, the brand new Spider-Man movie that came out. They had no idea it was a video game.
Mhm.
That's how far graphics and video games have come since the beginning of the first PlayStation console, and then all the way to the five. And more games are going to keep putting out that's just going to look better and better and more realistic. And I'm here for that. I'm super excited. I'm a big visual guy. Love graphics. Love how they design things, and I'm here for it. Really well done. Definitely the best game of 2023, even though it came out at the end of the year and played it in 2024. Definitely game of the year. I'm very excited to see where Insomniac goes with the Wolverine game coming out, and playing Ratchet and
Mhm.
Clank, also out by Insomniac too. So love that studio. Love what they're doing for video games, and making me very excited to be a video gamer. Also in this game, I liked all the haptic feedback too. When you're like flying through the air,
Yeah.
you can feel like the wind gusts. When you're shooting the webs, you can feel it, and the
Mhm.
sound effects and everything. It's very interactive, and it feels like you're actually in the game, which is another benefit of this game, I thought.
It really puts forth we've been having PlayStation 5 here for a couple of years getting to play it. It really uses all your system can do. It utilizes all that power just in the controller itself with all the haptic feedback. There hasn't been another game on PlayStation 5 that's been able to show off the hardware like Spider-Man 2 has. It really goes throughout everything, not only the little speaker, the microphone you can hear on your controller. The haptic feedback's incredible though, like you mentioned, like everything, all the vibrations, the feeling of it. There's nothing else like it. It really utilizes your PlayStation 5 and shows off just how powerful it is, not only in the graphical department, but in the controller as well. The haptic feedback's incredible.
I just had a really great time with this game. I played it basically every weekend from December until March until we played everything in this game. I didn't want to get sidetracked with any other games. So I just focused on this on the weekends. With my 9-year-old son, he loves it. Loved this game. First time he got a platinum trophy. He loves Spider-Man. He was really, having a great time with his dad and playing this game and fall into this world and fall in love with the characters and the backdrop in New York City and everything they go through. Incredible storytelling, graphics, everybody involved in this game, from sound to the visuals to people making the game itself. Definitely game of the year for me. And I can't wait to see what the next game is. So if you guys out there have not played this, definitely check it out. It's definitely worth your time. And I think you guys will have a blast with this and probably enjoy it just as much as we did. So with that being said, I'm going to give Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5 a perfect 5 out of 5 Venom hair pieces.
A terrific game all around. I love playing this, and I can't wait to go back and try to get 100% too. It's amazing in every way. And Insomniac has put themselves on the map with these games, and I can't wait to see Wolverine and to see the next game in this series. It's going to be phenomenal. And the way the story wrapped up in this, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. It was kind of the end of one of the Spider-Man stories, or so it seems. I have a feeling we won't see the last of them, but it's more going to focus on Miles, I think, from now on. I think he's going to be the solo Spider-Man moving forward. Although, I'm sure Peter will still be around. But yeah, everything that you mentioned from this game and everything that we talked about, it's phenomenal. It's definitely the best game of the year. Loved playing this. Can't wait to go back and replay this. The graphics, the story, the characters, the voice work in this, everything, the action scenes that they're able to put together through this, the villains that they introduced, everything was top notch and improved upon the other 2 games in this series. Phenomenal. Pick this up now if you don't already have it and play through it. You're going to love it. So that being said, I too am going to give Spider-Man 2 a perfect 5 out of 5 Harry Osborn hair pieces.
So I want to hear from all you wild gamers out there. What did you like about Spider-Man 2? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite game of 2024 thus far? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out these wild Midwesterners on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news and reviews.
And that's right. And stick around. We'll be back to review another video game in the coming months very soon. And we'll always be talking about the newer video games that are coming out, the announcements. We're big gamers too, in addition to being, film and TV enthusiasts. So we'll definitely be back and reviewing more video games in the future. But yeah, if you guys haven't already played Spider-Man 2, definitely go and get it right now. You won't be disappointed. So with that being said, I am Uncle Henry Hill.
And I'm Uncle Logan Osborne, signing out until the next video game review. Cheers!
Beacon will be extinguished today!